frozen ground. The thunder of the glass is the only sound. From the grace of the speed to the crushing weight, in the blink of an eye, we decide our fate. The ice is a battle where the iron reigns. We're breaking the surface and we're breaking chains. Brace for the impact, cross the line. The neutral zone is roaring through the night. IE Sports Radio, ice in our veins, and I'm Karnik and Freddie B, holding the reins. We follow the hunt for the silver cup, where the minor league hungry are stepping up. The college ice is burning in the freeze, and the women of the league bringing giants to their knees. The juniors, the legends, the global stage. We're writing the story on a frozen page. The lamp lights up, red in the winter air. The speed and the power are waiting there. Drop the puck. Brace for the impact. Cross the line. The neutral zone is roaring through the night. IE Sports Radio. Ice in our veins, Adam Karnik and Freddie B, holding the reins. The neutral zone.
And welcome on into the neutral zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am Adam Karnik. He is Freddie B. We are so glad that you are here with us on this Wednesday evening. We have got a ton to go over in this episode tonight. We have a ticket punched to the Stanley Cup final, and it is, I mean, on the one hand, I did kind of predict it, I guess, before the playoffs started.
Yeah.
On the other hand, even I'm kind of surprised by it. So we'll be diving into that. We've got another series that, man, while it's not over yet, it looks like it's all but over. Going on in the Eastern Conference. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about what went wrong for the Colorado Avalanche as they got wiped out by Vegas in the Western Conference Final. We'll take a look at that. We'll have some thoughts on what might happen in either version of a Stanley Cup Final, who Vegas might want to see when we get to that. But we're not talking just NHL tonight either. Freddie's got an update from the World Juniors tournament that's been going on. Yep. We've got the new format for expansion in the PWHL for how they're going to be formatting the expansion draft, filling out those 4 new teams worth of rosters. We'll get you caught up on all that. And then could there be shakeups coming to the college sports landscape, and specifically how might college hockey be affected by that? So we got lots on the docket for you here tonight. So glad that you are here with us. Before we go too far into the show, though, we do want to give a quick shout out and thank you to our sponsors, starting with Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. Be sure to go to planetjerky.net to place your order and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. We also want to shout out Vital Apparel, the brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Go to vitalapparel.com. You can use the promo code IESR at checkout, and you get 15% off of your order there. Some other housekeeping, of course, this show is available for you on Twitter. We are at IESR Neutral Zone. He is at Freddie B_sports. I am at Adam_Karnik. The entire station is also available for you on Twitter and YouTube at IE Sports Radio. You could be watching live across either of those channels. Hello. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday evening wherever you are. Give us your thoughts throughout the show as well. You can hit us up with a comment, leave something in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from, what you thought of everything that went down between Vegas and Colorado or is happening between Carolina and Montreal at the moment. Without any further ado, though, Freddie.
Yes, sir.
Let's real quick, since we do have a game in action tonight, Carolina still putting a whooping on Montreal, or is Montreal clawed its way back into this thing?
We're just over the halfway point here in game 4, and Montreal has got a lot of catching up to do right now, Adam, like you mentioned. It's been a strange series, to say the least, for them offensively. I mean, at least putting shots on net. And again, it showed in this first period today that the lack of shots on goal is going to end up hurting them. And, Carolina puts 3 up in the first period in less than a 3-minute span. And for a team that's already struggling, to get shots on net, they did come down. They did come back in game 1 from that early, hot start by Carolina. But, I mean, you can't rely on Jakub Dobeš to – he's been outstanding. And like somebody mentioned, can he win the Conn Smythe if they don't even make the Stanley Cup final? No, but this guy has definitely been the Canadiens MVP through the first 2.5 rounds of the Stanley Cup playoffs. But 3-0, 7 minutes to go here in the third. Carolina looking to get up to a 3-1 series lead. And at that point, it could be daggers. It's going to be tough for Montreal. And just last game, Montreal wins game 1. They lose game 2. I told my daughter, Carolina has yet to lose 2 consecutive games in the playoffs. And then they end up losing game 3 as well. So that was the first 2-game losing streak that they've had. They had been, they've always bounced back with a win after losing a game. So I think we've kind of seen that chink in the armor, and Carolina is the team that we expected them to be.
Well, yeah, Carolina to this point, we wondered, I brought it up. We talked the rest versus rust. What's going to happen with these guys with all that time off? I wasn't as shocked that they dropped game 1, but since then, yes, you did have overtime. Dobeš has been the only thing keeping Montreal alive to this point in this series, but Carolina absolutely looking like the better team to this point, and it really does feel like Carolina is just gonna move its way through this series and wind up in the cup final.
We started seeing the guys that needed to step up, their first liners. Svechnikov scores the game winner in overtime in game 3. He's finally, getting that scoring touch. He had 2 goals in that game. And just tonight, Sebastian Aho gets on the scoreboard. So the guys that needed to step up are finally doing their job. And I mean, they're so suffocating, defensively, they're holding Montreal to 12 shots a game, 13 shots a game. And through the first period, I think they had 4. They're up to 11 right now in this game here. But, they're doing that. But that's something that Montreal showed in the Tampa series and in the Buffalo series, where they could, have long stretches, a complete period at one game in the Tampa series with 0 shots on goal. So that has been a problem for them the entire playoffs, Adam. And it's just going to be too much for them. 2 Game 7 series to start it against a well-rested Carolina team. Game 1, you could throw that out the window. That was just a freak game. I mean, 2 goals scored so quickly, and then just the back and forth, and then the pure domination by Montreal. But just not enough horses for Montreal. But I didn't expect them to be playing in the conference final to begin with. But I just think they've just ran out of gas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose we can use Vegas terms, since we'll be talking about them later. Montreal is playing with house money, being in the Eastern Conference Final. There's you wouldn't have expected them to make it this far. I think I had them out in the second round. I'll be honest, I don't remember. Not that those predictions really mean anything anyway. It's so to get to this, it's nothing to hang your hat on. They're such a young team. They can certainly learn from this, build from this. We'll see what can happen for them going forward. But yeah, they're running into a buzzsaw here with Carolina. And we talked about it last week when we kind of previewed this series, that Carolina had failed to lose a game in these playoffs, and their top guys weren't being their top guys. Now you're seeing Aho, you're seeing some of the other guys at the top of the rotation, if you will, come through. Oh yeah, when Carolina's clicking on all cylinders, there are very few teams in the league that can handle them. Montreal certainly doesn't seem to be one of those. We'll see. Obviously we know we're going to have a Game 5. I feel like Friday night is it at this point. They're going to go back to Carolina, and that's just going to be that.
Carolina's got a lengthy 5-on-3 right now. I'm looking at it. 7 minutes to go in the second. They score here. Yeah, you can guarantee tonight's game as probably being a final. And yeah, I think they go back to Raleigh, and Carolina closes this thing out. They don't want this game. They don't want Montreal. Montreal could be a pest. They don't want this thing to linger any further than it needs to be. Get out of this thing unscathed. And Freddie Anderson, after Game 1, has really stepped up his game as well. 2 consecutive wins, a shutout right now through the first, 34 minutes of this game. The goaltending is back. That was just that case of rust, possibly. I mean, giving up the shot, so many goals on so little shots in Game 1. Anderson's been good, and he's been the stalwart back there. The guys on defense have been great. Everybody, it just contributes. They take the body, they hit all around the ice, they win faceoffs, and now you get in the top line catching fire. They're pushing all the perfect buttons right now to where they need to be. And I think we're finally can say Carolina is back in the Stanley Cup final. Get that monkey off of Rod Brindamore's back as he's led this team. Finally, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle for the last decade for them to get over that hump. And I think, they're just so close to doing it now.
Yeah, I agree. I think Friday they have to play a Game 5 Friday night. I think that closes it out. Did I see correctly that it's going to be 68 seconds worth of 5-on-3?
Yeah, it's something. It's something right now. So
I fear for the Montreal defense having to hold up for that. Best of luck to you if Dobish holds up on that. Oh my goodness sake, just pin a medal on him now. Just pin the medal on him now if he holds up to that onslaught.
Yeah.
He wouldn't win the Conn Smythe without even making it out of the conference final round. But boy, there needs to be like an honorable mention or something like that at that point for him. The way that he has carried them through these playoffs and through this series, especially.
Yeah, they've ridden him every game. You know, he had the one bad outing against Buffalo when he gave up, I think it was 6 goals in the game, and then he's bounced back, and he's been the horse for Montreal. They've ridden him to this point, and I'm sure, you know, whatever the score is tonight, he's going to be the goalie starting in Game 5, regardless. But yeah, he's been great. But you can only do it for so long. The offense has got to do something. You know, the lack of just shot production is. I've never seen a team, you know, getting low teens to, you know, barely over double digits in shots on goal for an entire game.
And it's night after night after night. It's not like this is a one game.
This is the mirage. This is the NHL Eastern Conference Final you're playing in. You would think these guys are throwing as many pucks on net as they can. I know Carolina blocks a lot of shots, but still, they got to get more traffic, more something.
It's Carolina blocks a lot of shots, and Carolina just tilts the ice. Their version of defense is we are just going to hold the puck and make you take it away from us. You will get one shot attempt, and you better pray that it goes in, because Carolina is then getting the puck and bringing it down on the other end and playing 90 to 120 seconds with it before you get it back. And that is just Carolina Hurricane hockey, and they are making it.
You know what else is huge for Carolina, and we'll kind of talk about this when we talk about the other series, is they have 6 solid defensemen on the blue line, and they don't have to play their top guys upwards of 30 minutes a game like Minnesota had to do. I mean, Sean Walker leads right now. I mean, Keandre Miller has the most time on ice right now at just under 15 minutes. And then you have Sean Walker with 13, Jacob Slavin, 11. It's pretty evenly dispersed among all of their defense, and they're getting contributions. St. Gostisbehere has had such a phenomenal season. It is so great to see him get back to what we saw out of him like his rookie year when he was with the Flyers, just giving that offensive ability. You know, he's out there throwing the body around. Not so much tonight, but they got guys that are, you know, go out there, they take blocks, they throw the body. That's a complete team, and that's what we're seeing with Carolina. They are the complete team, I believe.
Absolutely. Well, says that series is not quite done yet. Let's move on to one that has finished. Las Vegas, the Golden Knights clinch the Western Conference. They take the Campbell Bowl. They take the giant soup mug on their way home. I mean, I realized as I was getting ready for this, oh my gosh, wait a minute. This is actually what I predicted. I can't believe this. I cannot, and it's in part because of the way it happened.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go back to whatever it was 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, whenever we did all those predictions. And I took my reasoning for taking Vegas was I thought Colorado would be just so tired from having to get through a meat grinder of the first 2 rounds. Colorado only needed 9 games, you know, to get to this stage. And Vegas mopped the floor with them. The most impressive thing to me from this were games 2 and 3. The come from behind and the third period comebacks where and it wasn't even needing overtime at that point. It was just straight up, we're going to dominate and we're going to score and we're going to just take it here in regulation. Colorado was a perfect 45 wins in 45 chances this season when leading after 2, and Vegas beat them in back-to-back games one of them in Colorado to take this sweep. What a series for the Golden Knights.
I didn't see this, Adam, at all. The Knights had their hands full with the Ducks the series prior. That series was very close to going 7 games. Vegas had to win that game in dominant fashion, game 6, but they were on the brink of possibly playing a game 7 against the Anaheim Ducks in the second round. And I just saw Vegas's play just start getting better. Kind of the team that we were expecting them to be. Mitchell Marner had been doing fantastic in the playoffs and still is. Dorofeyev really chipping in, scoring a lot of goals, and Jack Eichel doing his thing with all the assists. And the way that they kind of just took it to Colorado. Obviously, K.O. McCarr being out for Colorado, I think did play a huge role. I'm not going to put all the blame on them losing the first 2 games without him in the lineup, because that team just didn't look good regardless. They've got to have guys step up, and I didn't see a lot of that with the Avs, Adam. It was strange that, just yesterday in game 4, an elimination game that Nathan McKinnon only has 1 shot on goal in a 1-goal game. This is, I expected a lot more. I know he got hurt. A lot of these guys are playing through a lot of crap, and it's starting to show. And but I don't know. Their big guns just didn't come through, and Vegas's did. Mark Stone gets back in the lineup, and he starts scoring goals and dishing the puck. And what can you say about Carter Hart? He's been fantastic in net. He only gave up 7 goals in the 4 games of the series. Yeah. Against Colorado, a team that could score 3 to 5 goals a game easily.
And Colorado was the highest scoring team in NHL history in the regular season. 298 goals in the regular season. In the 9 playoff games that they had played coming into this series, the Avs were averaging 4.11 goals a game. They didn't even get 2 a night against Vegas. This was an incredible job by Hart. Say what you will about him. Obviously still all the controversy off the ice, that does not go away by any means. And in fact, that's only going to get ratcheted up to 11 now that they're in the Stanley Cup final, because everything's going to come out yet again. And everything's going to get relitigated yet again with all that.
That's going to happen, unfortunately.
But give Hart credit that he's been able to focus in on the task at hand with all that going on. Let's face it. Obviously, every time he goes into the crease, that's part of the story for that night's game. If you're Vegas, what do you do with Aiden Hill now?
Oh, yeah, you're looking,
First world problems, I know, but what do you do with Aiden Hill?
Yeah, you'll be looking to move him, definitely, because you've found your number one for the future, definitely.
But with Colorado though, let's focus on the Avs specifically for a second.
Yeah,
it's yet again, it's the curse of the President's Trophy.
You're right. You brought that up. Yep.
It's still we're talking 2013 was still the last time that the President's Trophy winner even made it to the Cup final. Never mind won it, and that was we don't need to relitigate all that. Give Colorado credit; they at least made it to the conference final. They're the first team not named the New York Rangers to do that since 2013, at least.
Yeah.
So give them credit for that. But my gosh, we talked about how they were so high scoring during the regular season and in these playoffs. couldn't buy a goal. Their special teams, their power play unit just was abysmal. 1 for 10 in this series.
Yeah.
And I know there's going to be a lot of Avs fans that are going to say Scott Wedgwood was the problem. Scott Wedgwood was Scott Wedgwood. And there is something to be said for, hey, you've got the lead after 40 minutes. You've got a 3-goal lead at one point in game 3. Just hold on to the darn thing. Just stop the puck. But when you're not scoring, when, again, the top 6 outside of Gabriel Landeskog had 3 goals in this series. That's a good showing.
That's huge. You weren't expecting that out of him.
Yeah. Outside of that, one person in the top 6 scored 1 goal for Colorado. You cannot have everybody in your top 6 go dry at the same time. You can't. Do you need to have a little bit better play in net? Absolutely. Oh gosh, I just blanked on his name. Who started last night in goal for Colorado?
Mackenzie Blackwood started last night.
Thank you. Yeah, Blackwood did great last night. He was not the problem. Yes, he gave up the one very early and then gave up ultimately the game winner very late. But he was having to make save after save after save after save after save after save.
Oh, he made
last night.
He made some incredible saves. I saw some that he was going post to post, full splits. He definitely saved at least 4 or 5 potential Vegas goals that kept Colorado in the game.
Yes, that game last night could very easily have been 6-1, very easily. And just on the other end, Colorado just could not get anything established, could not get any momentum going at all. It just surprising series from.
I was
very surprising.
I was disappointed. I really wanted to see this Avalanche team, the team that was just so good all season. I thought they were going to run right through this thing, but they hit a wall. Marty Necas not doing anything, Niskushkin and Nazem Kadri, they were getting the production was the third liners and the fourth liners, like the Ross Coltons and the Drurys. Yeah, you can't say it was because of Makar. I mean, had he been there for game 1 and 2, series probably even, maybe. But once Colorado was down 2-0 going back to Vegas, I didn't have a good feeling about it. But then they go ahead, they get up 3-0 in game 3, and you're like, okay. Now this is the Avs team that we were expecting. Okay, they're gonna make a series out of this. What night was that? Oh, jeez.
That was
Sunday. Okay, that was Sunday night.
Sunday night. Yeah,
that was Sunday night. Larry B and I were doing our Dirt and Diamonds show at the time. I came in my office here, and it was 3-0 Colorado. I walk out of the office back into the family room, and it was 4-3. My mind was blown. I couldn't believe what had happened. But yeah, everything's coming together now for Vegas. Say what you will. I mean, I'm not a fan of theirs, but the way that they're playing, this is a good hockey team. They're playing good hockey, and it looks like they're going to end up, playing against the Eastern Conference best team in Carolina. Can you only imagine, though, if we got a Vegas Montreal series and Vegas, Montreal with already their lack of scoring and what Vegas did defensively to Colorado? I mean, yeah, that would have been pretty ugly. But I think we're going to get, obviously Carolina, the best team in the East. Vegas, you could say what you will. They got the easier route to the conference final. They didn't have to, play a Minnesota or a Dallas like Colorado had to. But, they got past Utah. They got past Anaheim. They did what they had to do. John Tortorella's record is something like 19-4 since he has been head coach now for the Knights. Incredible. What a turnaround. You can say what you want about him. You can say how, Vegas just turned it around. And like we said, to get that number 1 seed and win the Pacific Division, they earned the spot that they got, and they earned the right to play the teams that they did leading up. They could have easily been a wild card team and had a tougher road. I don't know if they would have been in the same spot, but good on them. Now you think about Colorado real quick, Adam. There's already talks about, Bednar and what they're going to do with Jared Bednar behind the bench. There's talks about him, being released of his duties. A guy that's won a cup just a few years ago. Obviously, the injuries and everything, are going to hurt this year's team. Just the disappointment. They were the President's Trophy winners. Everybody expected them to be the ones to do it. And when you come up short, don't even make it to the conference final in the way you got swept in it, there's a good chance that he may not be back.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's every possibility that he won't be back. I put it. You brought up the potential there for who Vegas could be facing. I just put up the poll question here for the show tonight.
Oh, good.
Who would Vegas rather face in this Stanley Cup final? Would they rather face Carolina or Montreal? This is not necessarily who you, the fan, want to see. We're asking, who do you think Vegas would rather see? And I'll preface this a little bit here. Obviously, they played both teams twice in the regular season. They actually did significantly better against Carolina than they did against Montreal. Against the Canadiens, Vegas went 0-1-1 on the season, and they swept Carolina, beating them in regulation in both games. Now, here's the catch. They haven't seen either of these teams since January.
Oh, wow.
Both of the games against Carolina were played all the way back in October.
Okay, so
if they played the Hurricanes, it could be nearly 8 months since these two teams have seen each other.
Yeah, you get throw that out the window. These are two different teams than what we saw at the beginning of the season. I think it's going to be, obviously, if I'm voting on this, I'm going to say, yeah, sure. I would want to play Montreal. That's who would go with if I was Vegas. But I think if, it ends up being a Vegas Carolina series, I think we're going to be in for a really good one. And I think maybe Carolina wins it in 6 games. That's my prediction. I think Carolina is just, I just think they're a little bit better. But Vegas has proven me wrong all playoffs long so far. This is their 3rd Stanley Cup final in the team's existence already, Adam. You think about that.
Just 9 seasons. Yeah, just 9 seasons and already 3 appearances.
They're doing something. And they fired their coach 2 weeks left in the regular season, and then they get to this point.
The other, you bring that up, and this is going to be a great nugget for when we actually preview the series.
Yeah.
This is how crazy the NHL is. Every now and again, you get reminded how just absurdly stupid this sport can be sometimes. This is not the first time in NHL history that a coach has taken over the team with 10 or fewer games to go in the regular season and wound up in the Cup Finals. This is actually the third time that's happened. Now, the last time was like 40 years ago, but it's still, This has happened 2 other times that somebody's, oh yeah, we're going to change head coach with a week and a half to go in the regular season. And look at that. We wind up here in the cup final. Who would have guessed?
Does he even coach? Does Tortorella even stick around to coach next year? Or I wonder if this was just a stopgap. I you know what? I don't know.
What I've read on that is Vegas is has been grooming their AHL coach to come in and take over for Vegas next season. So this is truly Tortorella. You are here for as long as the team is still alive in the playoffs, and then thank you, sir. Job well done. Go back and enjoy your retirement. Go punch a bar somewhere.
I thought I had heard, with all the coaching rumors that are going on, at him maybe possibly up to Vancouver. I don't know if that's a good decision with the young, up and coming Canucks up there. But I saw that. I was like, okay, I don't think he's going to be back next season coaching this team. That's crazy, considering how well that they've done. But again, it's a lot on this Golden Knights team, a very good team that was expected to be up here at the end of the season. Just they were the top team, one of the top teams at the beginning of the season that everybody predicted, and now they just got healthy again. They adding William Karlsson back to the lineup, being that number 2 center. The ability of winning draws in the key moments. That's huge, getting him back. And then you could drop Mark Stone down to the 3rd line. He's playing with Tomas Hertl and Colton Sissons. That's a big body line right there that could check. I mean, Tomas Hertl had a great series against Colorado. A couple of goals, throwing the body around. Like to see that.
That's an old-fashioned 3rd line right there. That's an old school. We're not. We can score, sure, but we're here to just beat the tar out of you. We're here to make you suffer. With the skill. Then the 4th line has grinders as well with Kolasar and Dow. They were really good in that Colorado series. Yeah, Vegas Carolina matches up for it's going to be a really entertaining Stanley Cup final if it is in fact going to be that. Assuming, we hate to bury Montreal too early, but at the same time, she's not singing yet, but boy, the fat lady's certainly warming up, certainly getting ready.
Yeah.
All right, let's take for ourselves a quick little break at this point, and then when we come back, we're not just talking NHL on this show in general or on this episode tonight. We've got a lot of other things in the hockey world to get you caught up on. We've got a World Juniors update. We are down to the quarterfinals in the World Juniors going on. We've got the PWHL has reset the format for expansion. We'll kind of go through that. I'll do my level-headed best to explain it as much as possible. It's not the simplest thing in the world. And then there could be some changes coming to college hockey. We will talk about that and explain that next as well. You are tuned in here to the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We will be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back on into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam, Karnik, Freddie B, back here with you. Talked a ton of NHL over the first 40 or so minutes of the show here tonight. But we're not just NHL here on the Neutral Zone. We spray to all hockey fields, and we got some big ones coming up here in the World Juniors going on, including we got another USA versus Canada matchup here in the quarterfinals, don't we?
We do. It's not the World Juniors, just the World Championships.
I'm sorry, World Championships. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
Calling it juniors.
Yeah, that was earlier in the season, but. This is the World Championships here being played in Switzerland, and we just got to the end of pool play yesterday. Quarterfinal matchups going to start tomorrow. We've got some really good matchups in this tournament starting tomorrow with Finland and Czechia. Both teams had to fight their way in this one. Czechia getting in on that last day of qualifications, and then Canada and U.S. Canada winning their group. They get to play U.S., who got in by winning their last game as well. That's going to be a really good matchup. Canada obviously has the big guns, Crosby, Celebrini, Scheifele. They've got some good guys over there. But since the U.S., and since Matthew Tkachuk, yes, joined the U.S., they've kind of turned their team around, starting to gel a little bit. Obviously not the same roster for the Olympics, but the U.S., a lot of younger guys, fun to watch. I like to see how they would do, but I'm probably going to go with Canada to take them in that one just because they've been playing so well at this point. The big surprise is Switzerland, the host country. Perfect in pool play. They're going to be hosting Sweden. They are fantastic. There's a good chance that they could win this whole tournament. They're looking outstanding. And then you got a really good surprise Norway team. They're going to be taking on Latvia in the fourth of the quarterfinal games. So a couple of countries, you may not have expected to be in there, especially Norway, but they did so well. Great goaltending on that team. And these are going to be fun, exciting games as we get into the end of this tournament here.
Absolutely. Oh, I mean, it's anytime you have an international tournament, the players always bring it up an extra notch for that too. So it always makes for incredibly entertaining and excellent hockey going on there. So we'll be the quarterfinals start tomorrow on that, correct?
Yes, tomorrow. Yeah, that will be starting tomorrow. So we'll see. You got that Canada. Every time Canada and U.S. play, it's always going to be a big game. I think Finland, they've gotten pretty decent goaltending. Yoki Harju has been fantastic for them this tournament as well defensively. I think they win their game against Czechia. Canada wins, and then those two teams will play each other. And then I think I'm still going to go with the home in the host country, Switzerland, to win this whole tournament. They've gotten fantastic net play. Giannoni's been outstanding in net, and all the great firepower they have with Heischer and Niederreiter and I can't even list half the roster they got. Roman Yost. So many good players on that Swiss team. I think they're going to take this whole tournament, and we should know by next week's show who wins this.
Exactly, and we'll go through it and have a little bit of fun with that. Excellent.
Yep.
Elsewhere too, we've got the PWHL season wrapped up. We celebrated Montreal getting its first win, getting the Walter Cup a week ago. Mm-hmm. We've now heard from the league. We've got all the expansion teams out there as well. Now we have gotten some clarification on what they're going to be doing for the expansion draft and how those rules are going to work.
Yeah, isn't it like a 3-phase process now? How they're going to be handling this?
Yes, it is a multi-stage, multi-phase. There are a lot of moving parts and pieces to this. So I'm going to try to do my best to explain this as best I can for how expansion is going to work. It is ultimately from now until the end of the draft, they refer to it as a 6-phase process that they're doing for expansion player distribution. Phases 1 through 4 are the biggies for pulling players off of current rosters, though. Some general rules here for you. Only expansion-related transactions are allowed. You cannot trade players. You cannot extend or sign players outside of the specific guidelines in each particular phase. Mm-hmm. The 8 existing teams can at most lose up to 4 players. They could, in theory, lose none. That's not going to happen. And then anywhere 1, 2, 3, or 4, but a maximum of 4. And then each expansion team will have 10 players under contract by the end of the 4th phase. Basically, by the time they get to the draft, each of those 4 teams will have 10 players under contract.
Yeah. Also in that phase 1, Adam, is that existing teams can only protect 3 players. Now, those can be 3 players that are under contract, or they can be players that they've signed.
Yes, so, that's an interesting wrinkle to me. If you sign a player who is effectively a street free agent, if you sign them, they are protected.
That counts as one of your protections. Yes.
Whether you want them to be or not, that is one of your 3 protections. Yeah, the rules for phase 1, each existing team protects 3 players. I already saw earlier today, Montreal has listed their 3. Marie-Philippe Poulin and Anne-Marie Desbiens are both going to be protected. I don't remember offhand who the 3rd name was, but they've already made their selections who their 3 players are going to be. Expiring contracts have to sign as a protected player. Unsigned players may sign with any existing teams. All signings count as a protection, and existing teams, at most, you lose 1 player during this phase. And phase 1 is 2 days. It is a 2-day period next week. It's very quick.
Starts tomorrow, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry, tomorrow. Thank you. Yeah, it starts tomorrow. Phase 2, each of the expansion teams sign up to 5 players. They basically, each of the teams are going to submit a written list of, here are the 20 players that we would like to negotiate with and target to come over here to us. And they can sign 5 players. Unprotected players under contract and expiring contracts are eligible. And if they sign fewer than 5, then there's a process for getting them up to 5. Then phase 3, expansion teams then sign up to 3 unprotected players on expiring contracts. And then also existing teams can protect 3 more of their players. Those protections consist of players already signed to the team's roster for next year, or players on expiring deals that sign. There's rules in there as well for what kind when you're one of the expansion teams. There's rules in there of how you can approach them. You can name up to 1 player, like a focal point player, that this is going to be the person that we're going to try to build the entire organization around as a player. Yeah. And then that player gets to basically name their terms and say, sure, I'm going to take a 4-year deal, then thank you very much. Or 1 through 4 years. They basically get to pick. Otherwise, you're basically whatever current deal you're on, we just assume that deal. And then the 4th phase is unprotected players under contract and unsigned players are then eligible to sign with the expansion teams, get those expansion teams up to their 10 players, and then you move to basically standard free agency and the draft from there.
Wow. That's an awful lot in the next 2 weeks. We're going to be seeing all these contracts and signings, and there's just even these other ones like that are like you sign someone to an expansion franchise offer, but there's no guarantee that they're going to end up signing. I don't even know how this is. It's a lot of confusion here, but I know it's a way that they're going to make this expansion of the 4 teams. We're not going to see like what happened with Vegas in the NHL here. They're trying to do the best they can to even this out amongst all the teams in the league. So everybody gets a fair shot. You sign or you protect the players you want to keep, and then you go from there. So I think this is a great way of doing it. It gives the expansion teams the ability of choosing and signing players going into the draft as well. So that way they have rostered players, and then the draft will be, towards the middle of June. It's going to be an exciting time. The league is really putting everything into motion, and they just released too now what player contracts are, correct?
Yes, the PWHL Players Union agreed to release everybody's contract so you could see how much money each individual player is making. There's a lot of discrepancies through there, a lot of stuff to be diving into on that. You brought up the draft for the PWHL. They also announced with this it will be a 6-round draft, so an extra round compared to years past. Nice. Obviously, all 12 teams are going to participate. They have not set upon an order yet, though. The only note they have on that is the first overall pick is still what was determined from the gold plan. So that hasn't changed.
Right.
It was Vancouver that wound up with the number 1 overall pick. That's how they'll roll with that. What I would suggest, if they were to ask me of how to handle the draft, what I would still do, you want to protect the integrity of the gold plan, because I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that idea. I love how they do that. I love that concept. I would still leave the 4 teams that missed the playoffs this year. I would still have them draft 1 through 4 in the order of the gold plan. Leave that intact. Then I would put the 4 expansion teams, have them be next in whatever you flip a coin or deal out a deck of cards or however you do it, set the order, and then I would have them just rotate every round. If you were 5 in round 1, then you're going to be 8 in. So
like a snake draft at that point, right?
Exactly. Just have them shift. Just front moves to the back. Everybody moves down a spot. have it work that way through each round sequentially, and then I would have the remaining 4 teams then that all made the playoffs. You're 9 through 12.
Okay.
Montreal be last. That to me, it feels the most fair. It feels the most honest. You're still, for the teams that were in the league and participated in the gold plan and went through that, you're still honoring that, but you're also trying to give the expansion teams the best leg up. And this is a deep draft. It's part of why the league expanded as much as it did
as well.
They put the extra round in there, and why they added as many teams as they did, in part because they wanted to take advantage of what is, by all accounts, a really deep crop of available talent this year. So there'll be plenty of really good, talented players there, 5 through 8, for the expansion teams to work on and get and clear for themselves. My opinion. So not that they asked me, but that's how I would do it.
No, I think that's great. And then, are they continuing with the gold plan going forward through next season? They're going to keep that. Obviously, they're going to expand the playoff format and teams. I haven't heard, they haven't announced that yet, but I'm assuming they're probably going to go to at least 6 or 8 teams now. So that'll be good. Yeah,
I would imagine it's going to go to 8, but they have not announced that yet. They have not formalized that in any way, shape, or form yet. But I would think 8 makes the most sense, because then when they do eventually bump to 16, they're not going to do that for a couple of years yet. But when they do eventually bump the league up to 16,
what? I like the way that the PWHL is handling this, because there's going to be action. The season ended last week. Now starting tomorrow through the middle of June, there's going to be action, keeping this league in the news, and some of these signings and stuff we're going to see. This is going to be an ongoing, busy off season for these franchises right now. You see a whole month up until the draft. I think it is the 19th or whatever. There's a lot of action going on right now off the ice. This is outstanding. So it's a great time if you're learning about the PWHL, or just getting into it. Start paying attention, because these next couple of weeks there's going to be a lot of player movement, and some of the women that you watched on your teams are going to be going elsewhere, or see your teams protecting. So a lot of action going on for sure.
Yeah, and some of the coaches moving on too. I saw earlier today the coach of the Boston Fleet is going to go coach for Hamilton next season. So even some of the coaches are moving on.
Seattle lost their coach as well, didn't I think?
Seattle parted ways with its head coach as well. So they are looking for a new head coach. Okay. So a lot of action going on already. It's been a very busy off season in the PWHL already, even though the season ended just a week ago tonight. A lot of action going on in the PWHL. We'll keep you up to date as best we can as well, getting you set and ready for it. They'll have their draft here in a little less than a month, June 17th. Yes, June 17th is the draft there in Detroit. We'll get you caught up and ready for that as well. One other bit of news today, as we're here on the neutral zone, and before we dive into it, we'll take one more quick peek. So give the Canadians credit. They killed off the 5-on-3, the minute-long 5-on-3. They did kill it off. They're still down 3-0 though, with under 12 minutes to go in regulation. That's going to be a heck of a comeback at this point. I don't know if you saw that, if this came across for your news today, but it came across mine as long story short, wound up with the day off today. I'll be paying for that later. I'll get it tomorrow. And oh my goodness, I will be paying for that tomorrow. But anyhow, I don't know if this came across your news feed, but there has been movement in Congress to solidify and try to shore up and basically try to unring the bell of the NIL movement and all the Wild West that's been going on in college athletics for the last 6 seasons. There is a bill that is being proposed in Congress, a bipartisan bill, the Protect College Sports Act. And it's effectively what it's trying to do is bring some of things back from the pre-NIL days. As far as hockey is, and there's a lot of things they're looking to do in it, but from a purely hockey perspective, it's going to have some ramifications that the sport is actively trying to fight a little bit here. One of the rules that they're looking at that is being proposed in this Protect College Sports Act is that you have a maximum eligibility of 5 seasons over 5 years, 5 for 5. And obviously for the big name sports collegially, the obvious targets, football and basketball, well, that's really simple. That's really easy. Sure, that's basically you get your regular 4 seasons plus a redshirt year, or if you want to Drew Stenson it, you can do that for 1 season. You can't necessarily hang around for 6, 7, 8, 9 years like we saw some athletes do. You get 5 years to play 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Well, the reason that doesn't quite work in hockey, and Front Office Sports put together a great piece last week that touched on this. 99% of the players in college hockey are coming in older than 18. They're 20 years old. They're 21 years old. They've been playing in the CHL. They've been playing in the Western Hockey League.
They've been delaying their graduations from high school until they're at least 19 years old.
They're playing for the U.S. National Development Team. They're playing in the U.S. Hockey League. They're playing for the Chicago Steel or other teams like that. And so, yeah, you're having these guys who, by the time they actually start playing for Denver or UMass or Michigan State, whomever, whichever team you're looking at, they're already 20 years old. They've only got, at that point, they would only be able to maximum play 2, maybe 3 seasons, because another aspect of this is it starts by the clock starts ticking basically by the time you're 18 years old. The clock is ticking. That's when you've got your 5 seasons, is once you graduate high school or turn 18, whichever comes first.
Yeah.
So this could really have a major impact on college hockey if they enact this. And it's part of the reason and there's a big coalition, a big part, the Big Ten is part of the movement behind this for trying to make some addendums. And they don't just want this to be, well, carve out hockey specifically. They've pointed out that for a lot of the quote unquote Olympic sports, they're affected by this too. Soccer, this is a huge thing in soccer where you go and play for development teams and then you go play collegiately if you play collegiately. This could be affected in some of your gymnastics or track and field or things like this also, where it's just you've got some not the same as football or basketball routes to get into college.
Yeah. You know what? It wasn't until recently that, the CHL they had been barred from having their players compete in D1 hockey. And now that D1 hockey was getting more exposure for these kids, getting to that next level, we're getting guys, moving all over. I don't know. It makes sense on the whole for college sports, but the whole hockey thing is a completely different ball game. They're gonna have to have their own rules and regulations and everything because of what you just talked about, Adam, about the junior leagues and the and international hockey and everything like that. There's a lot more that goes into the college hockey game than college basketball, for example, or college football, right? You go straight from high school into college. You're not playing club teams or playing international and then deciding to go to college or anything like that. So um I'm sure this isn't the last we're going to hear of it, and they're only going to, clarify things a little bit more, but it could be a sticky situation when it comes to the hockey side.
Yeah, it's obviously football and basketball are the sports that get everybody's attention. They're the revenue generating sports. So obviously that's going to be the one that everybody's we've got to make sure that these sports are working. But it is important to not ignore the non-revenue generating sports and the sports like hockey that have a quote unquote non-traditional path to get into college. You don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater on something. College hockey has a system that works really, really, really well for itself and for others. And especially now that, they have decided that, okay, the Western Hockey League guys, they're not professionals, even though, yes, they have been paid. These are still effectively amateur level players. It's all right to let them in, give these guys some more pathways to getting recognition, to getting in and getting just continuing to hone their craft and get some experiences that might not otherwise have. It is going to be interesting to see what comes of this. I would not be surprised if ultimately that they're just basically told, nope, we're going with this system and we need it to be uniform across all the sports. We don't want it. We don't want to be, because the more loopholes you make, the more ways things can get confusing, and you can find the more loopholes exist, the easier it is for somebody to figure out how to abuse the system.
Yep.
So I would not be surprised if they do kind of shut the door on this, and it would make things very different for college hockey going forward. But it's certainly going to be an interesting story to keep an eye on. Obviously,
Definitely.
for all college athletics in general, it's been so bizarre the last 4, 5, 6 years with the way that NIL has become such a thing in and of itself, and the way players just fly around the country anywhere where you can get playing time essentially. But
you get playing time and you get paid as well.
Yeah, too. Yeah, where they're gonna throw an extra zero onto the end of this deal. Yeah, absolutely, I'll go there. It's a whole new ball game out there, so it's going to be interesting to see how this all ultimately gets wrapped up and taken care of. And it's going to be interesting to see that when the dust settles, how is college hockey affected by all this? It's going to be very interesting.
Yep.
Well, that's going to do it for our overall show here tonight, as I'm certain that Montreal has not scored 4 goals here in the last 2 minutes and suddenly just put the whole thing on edge, right? We haven't seen that.
It's basically over. 6 minutes to go. Still 3-0.
Still 3-0 Carolina. Well, we'll see what it is. We could, so a little bit of programming here before we wrap up the show for you here tonight. We could have the Eastern Conference. We could the Prince of Wales Trophy could wind up getting dished out here by the weekend. I would not be shocked if that happens. We have not seen anything official, but I have seen some tentative schedules that would show that the Stanley Cup final could start as early as next week, Tuesday. Should that be the case where we wind up with the Cup final will start before next Wednesday, before our next regularly scheduled show, keep an eye out on Twitter, keep an eye out on the social medias. We will do our level-headed best to get a preview show together for you so that we can preview the Cup final, get our thoughts out there, get some guests and some other thoughts on that, and kind of preview that series with you, for you, together, and get that together. Otherwise, if it's gonna be starting next week, Thursday or later, well, then we'll just do it next week, Wednesday, at the regular time. So
absolutely.
We're, again, the way to follow along at IE Sports Radio on Twitter. We are at IESR Neutral Zone. He is at Freddie B_sports. I am at Adam_Karnik. So be sure to just follow along on all the socials there. We'll let you know.
Adam, you're talking about is Carolina. How can Montreal make a comeback in this game? I'm going to tell you got to shoot the puck on net with only 6 minutes, less than 6 minutes to go. No shots on goal in the third period for Montreal.
Oh, you mean 15 shots total over a span of 55 minutes?
That's more than they had the last couple of games. But another period of shotless hockey is just insane.
Yeah, something's going to have to change.
Cole Caulfield could put 5 shots on net himself. That just goes to show you how well Carolina just smothers these teams. And I'm hoping that this series ends and we can be given a Stanley Cup preview, because I think we're going to be in store for a good one between Vegas and Carolina.
I think so too. We will have all kinds of fun dissecting and breaking that down for you. Keep an eye out on the social medias. We'll let you know exactly when it's happening. Until then, he is Freddie B. I am Adam Karnik. Together, we do this thing called the Neutral Zone every single week. We really appreciate you guys being here. Have a great week, everybody. We will check you next time.
Is the only sound. From the grace of the speed to the crushing weight, in the blink of an eye we decide our fate. The ice is a battle where the iron reigns. We're breaking the surface and we're breaking chains. The silver cup, where the minor league hungry are stepping up. The college ice is burning in the freeze, and the women of the league bringing giants to their knees. The juniors, the legends, the global stage.